We have friends.
We do. It's Forecasting with Friends today. And, you know, what's good for us is sometimes bad for areas out to our east. And, you know, we here in Houston are going to be enjoying some pretty nice weather in the wake of Hurricane Francine, but obviously not everybody around the Gulf Coast.
No, I mean, they got hit with a ton of water, rain bands that just sat over New Orleans, some pretty strong winds. And the thing is, even though Francine is a tropical depression now, we're going to continue to see those impacts inland. So let's talk a little bit about what Francine did. Knocked out electricity to more than 200,000 customers and threatened widespread flooding. Officials said crews were staged and going to be working to get those lights back on. Speaking of, President Biden has already approved an emergency declaration to help secure federal resources, and the Louisiana National Guard is ready to deploy for search and rescue missions as needed. But we do have a friend who actually did ride out the storm in Louisiana.
And a native Louisiana too. And Brandy Campbell is down in Kenner, Louisiana, not too far away from New Orleans. Thank you for joining us here live for this report. So what are you seeing there? I mean, did they experience that much? I mean, I know New Orleans got slammed with a lot of serious flooding overnight. What about where you are?
Yeah, well, guys, we are west of New Orleans. We're in Kenner, Louisiana. This is a spot they got over 8 inches of rain just over the past 36 hours, but most of that fell yesterday afternoon. The parish president saying the pumps were working with an exception of a couple of them in this city. So we're in one of the neighborhoods where we're seeing things like this. You have a pile of wood flooring and some belongings. That's because this neighborhood did receive some flooding, and I'm not talking a couple of inches, but several inches. Some homes got a foot. Some homes I've heard had 2 feet of water in it, depending on how high or low the homes were. So it has been devastating for sure, and there must be several hundred homes in this neighborhood. So I want to introduce you guys to one of the residents here. We just met Tujak. Thank you so much for taking some time to stop with us. This is your home right here, right? Yes, can you share with the viewers watching, what was last night like for you guys? You live right next to a canal.
Yes. The storm wasn't as bad. The winds weren't. The rain, the amount of rain, it was like torrential rain in a short period. And once the water started rising, you had maybe 30 minutes from, you know, right here to it's now in the house. Wow. And then it just kept going up. So we got about 6 inches. But it's kind of a panic when that happens because you're trying to figure out what to do. And then all the freezers, the deep freezers, everything, you know, not good. It seems almost every storm we're having lately, the street, like normally we used to stay pretty high, but Ida, they come up to the door now, it's in, and like that house over there had almost 4 foot of water. The street right here was almost waist deep.
Yeah, so and if we can back up a little bit, you were just showing me, how high was the water last night when you stepped
When I got right here.
Were you expecting that, just, you know, hearing about the storm coming?
No, not at all, because it was supposed to be Cat 1. It was supposed to be a little bit west of here, so the winds weren't as bad. The trees got a lean to it now, but the wind, it wasn't a wind event, it was water. Right. When they said that I was listening on the radio, we had lost power, but the canals were starting to breach. And normally what happens, that canal back here, the water just starts coming in like your tubs overflowing. It's crazy.
Okay, so I guess last thing, and I'm gonna let you go. I know everybody's busy out here cleaning for your home. I see the doors open. Are you pulling stuff out or just drying the floors? What's next?
I fell asleep for about 2 hours this morning, so now, yeah, we're pulling everything out now. But
well, I appreciate you for taking time out to talk with us. I know this isn't the easiest. Thank you so much, Tujak. All right. And then the other side to this, guys, it's power outages. Hundreds of thousands of people across the state. Just here in this parish, Jefferson Parish, there's just around 60,000 customers out. The good news is I did see some of the trucks with linemen coming in, so hopefully that means the power can come on for some of these folks who can receive it. Guys?
Wow.
You know, once that water comes in, it's like a race to get everything out of the house, even if it's just an inch, because then you have to worry about mold and mildew and just whatever nastiness will form, you know, in there after the flooding. Yeah, and then Brandy, I mean, I don't even know if folks there get flood insurance. I mean, I don't know if it's, I don't know.
Or even if you're able to.
I know I'm throwing you like a curveball, but you know, sometimes like the federal government will help with flood insurance and stuff like that. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you could have insurance, but yeah, it's if you also have flood included in it. We met one person earlier who said they did get flood insurance this year, so they're fine. But yeah, it is that question if everyone has it, and you know, it's likely not everyone will have it.
Probably
it's
not.
Expensive. That's the issue for a lot of folks that they're facing this time around.
And then Brandy, one last question. We know you have family there. How are they doing this morning?
Yeah, I was up all night last night when the storm was rolling over, when the eye was, you know, in this area, texting everybody. And thankfully, everybody that I got in touch with, they were okay. I had one friend, she had a very close call with her car being flooded, and some of the folks that, you know, was hanging out, riding out the storm with them, their cars did flood. So not everyone made it out, you know, dry, but for the most part, we're all okay. So that's the good news.
Glad everyone's at least safe and healthy.
Yeah, things could be replaced.
Yeah.
You know, people can't. So, all right, Brandy.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on our web show. Appreciate it very much.
Of course.
And best of luck to everybody there in Kenner and in New Orleans. So, oh my goodness.
Francine, man, number 6.
Number 6, and the 5th Gulf landfall, the 3rd hurricane to hit the United States this year. Yeah. And it as a category 2 this time.
And there's only been 6 storms. So
There've
can
only
you
been
imagine
6.
if we do reach the amount that was, you know, once said at the beginning of the year? But we were talking with the National Hurricane Center yesterday, and they're like, hey, this could be a heavy back half of the season.
Yeah, which is going to be, you know, I would hope that unless something like bonkers happens, that if we do make up for sort of all the lost time, like just, I guess, just to put it in some perspective, let's say that there were going to be 20 storms this year, or 22 or 23, and we've only had 6, and we have number 7 out there now, which is a little one. And it's not like that much on the horizon.
Yeah.
You know, there's like a few waves out there.
Yeah, it's not like 10 waves that we're
No,
watching.
so like, are we going to get to the end of September or October and just see some huge eruption? And maybe it'll all be out in the Atlantic, but, you know, gosh, you know, the way the Gulf has been so active, it seems to be a magnet this year so far. Let's just hope that that trend doesn't continue.
Yeah, and hopefully with Francine kind of mixing up the waters, that the waters won't be quite as warm. But then we're looking at highs in the mid-90s this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those give or take. We quickly just want to give you an update on Francine because it is now tropical depression. Did turn that a little bit earlier this morning. Got an advisory about an hour ago. We're looking at those winds down to 35. So likely going to be turning into a remnant low. But if you have family or friends in Memphis, they're likely going to be getting hit with a lot of that heavy rain and potentially some winds within there. I mean, probably nothing too impactful. Mike went through and actually was looking at some of the peak wind gusts that we saw, 78 miles per hour in New Orleans, but up to 105 Eugene Island. And that was peak wind gusts.
Yeah.
But
yeah, these
still,
are the highest gusts. Yeah. And that's, okay, well, first of all, the 78 in New Orleans surprised me a little. The rainfall was a record for the day, but like Brandy said, it fell like 7 inches. You say like, oh, okay, well that's obviously a very rainy day, but it fell in a short amount of time.
That's not good.
And so that's why the water rose so fast. And then the rest of the areas, you know, it's not necessarily like massive wind destruction. It's like the gentleman said that Brandy was talking to, you know, it wasn't like a huge wind storm, you know. There's some damage, obviously, but, you know, not major damage. But that rain, and I'm sure the storm surge in some spots, but the rain was really a big, big problem. And it just happened to hit also the most heavily populated area, too.
Yeah.
That was also
that's always how it goes, it
Yeah,
feels like.
yeah.
And speaking of, Morgan City was one spot that got hit hard. And one of our very own reporters, Shelby Rose, was out there pretty much all week before the storm, during, and after. So she has a report from earlier this morning of what folks there experienced when Francine made landfall.
Today officially begins the cleanup here in Morgan City, Louisiana, of all the damage that Hurricane Francine left behind. A lot of the scenes is exactly like what's behind me. Down trees, down power poles. This one here specifically, though, the great news is that even though this tree is overtaking this man's front yard, his home is completely unscathed. That's not the same story for others, though. We know that other tree limbs have fallen on top of homes. People have lost part of their roofs, as well as power poles being down down, knocking power out to absolutely every single person in this city. Now, we do know, though, that aside from the structural damage, one of the biggest concerns for everyone, especially when Hurricane Francine was hitting here along the coast of Louisiana, was the flooding. We were told that they were issuing a flash flood warning whenever Francine was hitting, and it proved to be very true. One resident saying that whenever he walked outside of his home initially, there's only a couple inches of water. He went back out less than 30 minutes later and there was at least 3 feet of water. Some of his neighbors now no longer have cars, water getting inside their homes. But with all of that being said, every single person that we've spoken to throughout the morning today has all said that it is not nearly as bad as they thought it would.
For here it was a little wind, little rain, and nothing really happened until that tree fell. We lost power about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I think we're still without power, so now I'm just cleaning up. That's not even my tree.
But the concern going into the days ahead is most certainly the power. Everyone that we've spoken to also says they have zero idea when they will get power back. A lot of people running on generators to make do until then. But everyone is pretty positive and says that the mild weather today, it actually feels pretty nice outside, is definitely helping the situation moving forward. Reporting in Morgan City, Louisiana, Shelby Rose, Fox 26 News.
Thank you so much, Shelby. She did such a good job out there.
Yeah, her and photographer Ed, they've been really out there in the thick of it and doing a lot of driving too, trying to, because I don't think that they didn't want to be there for like the absolute worst, dangerous moments of it. So they were there for the sort of the before, and then they drove up the road to where it was still bad, but not as bad, and then drove back down. So it's a lot when you're out there on the road, because you're just like, I don't even know what they're eating, like you have to stop and get fast food.
And you're not feeling your best.
Yeah, you're not feeling your best, and you have to try to get TV ready just in the news van. It's the life of a reporter. It's not. And
being on the morning shift, you should be sleeping by the time the storm's making landfall. Yeah. Well, that's not easy if anybody's ever tried to sleep through one of those. So one of those deals that she's probably going to be very happy to be in her own bed tonight. I think
so, yeah. I think so.
So we have another reporter who is out in Louisiana. We talked with Oliviana Calmes earlier this morning.
And we love her name.
Yes.
Oliviana Calmes.
It's very good. And she's in the New Orleans area-ish. And let's see what she has to say about the damage there.
I'm in Kenner, so just next to the New Orleans airport. It's starting to rain here and it's still got a breeze, so we're still dealing with some of the after effects of Hurricane Francine. But here, flash flooding was the big story overnight with, like you said, about 8 inches of water, and they usually get only 5 for the whole month of September. So that's over a month of rain just in a few hours. So a lot of the houses here, this is the picture we're seeing where the whole yard has been covered in water. This whole street behind me also was submerged in water, which is getting pumped out very quickly, thankfully. And of course, we're seeing the worst of it done with, but New Orleans did sustain some damage from this heavy rain, along with the coast of Louisiana receiving 5 feet of storm surge in some areas. Now let me take you to some video of Terrio, Louisiana. This is another area affected. You can see the wind just whipping that whole area. This was as Francine's eye wall moved through. You can see the leaves just whipping around that area. And then let me also show you some video from Houma, Louisiana. This is probably one of the worst spots hit. You can see winds of up to 100 miles per hour just whipping and ripping that roof off of that building there and kind of crumpling it up, because when you've got this dumping of rain mixed with 100 mile per hour winds, it's very dangerous. It can do a lot of damage there. And what you guys are saying is true. Power outages are the biggest thing right now. There's about 380,000 folks in Louisiana still without power. Some had generators. I just spoke to some people along the street who mostly here hunkered down for the storm, but are now dealing with flooded basements and flooded driveways as well. But power companies say they've got 6,600 restoration crews ready to send out. They're already sent out, some of them here, and we're just continuing to see some help come. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that good work. Now take a look at this video. This is from New Orleans, where crews were closing the floodgates around the city to block out Francine's storm surge. Since Monday, the Flood Protection Authority said crews closed 52 of those gates. Now, these barriers can provide surge protection as high as 26 feet above sea level, depending on the area. Take a look at those men down there. They look like pipsqueaks compared to it.
It's amazing engineering. I know there have been a lot of great strides made since the 2005 Katrina disaster. So now they're much better protected against that sort of storm surge flooding. But then the city is still at such a low level that
there's not much.
Sometimes you have flooding, rain flooding, and so.
Jeez.
Yeah, but it's amazing to see, isn't it?
It's crazy. And that how many people are trying to push this closed.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, glad that really they didn't get too much in the way of storm surge, just more of those heavy rain bands that sat overhead.
Yep. So coming up, we're going to take a break and we have more to share. Wait, we got some cool stuff.
Yeah.
After the
Earthquake.
Earthquake, yeah.
Things you're not going to want to miss.
Well, you hear some of the most unusual stories after hurricanes pass.
And this is called Bob.
Bob the buoy.
Missing buoy. A Sofar Spotter buoy actually went missing while Hurricane Francine was moving through the Gulf of Mexico. So as Francine passed over the East Flower Garden bank, it dislodged Bob. And they referred to him because he has some minion-like characteristics.
Oh, yeah, it does look like a minion.
So that's the crew there. And they said that he is an essential part of their monitoring efforts to track temperatures at ocean surfaces as well as near reefs. But it also tracks sea surface conditions, which is crucial to boats visiting the area. So this sanctuary is asking anybody who may be heading out into the Gulf over the following days or weeks to check on Bob's last location. They want to recover him. So if you're in the area, you can just search. You can see some of those pictures there. Looks like a floating minion. I don't know if it's going to have those two orange buoys attached to it, but you never know. Bob appears to be tracking westward, where it's currently located just south of West Flower Garden Bank. And if it travels far enough, it might even wash up on shore. So you can just reach out to the sanctuary and say, hey guys, I found Bob. And I think they're going to be very happy.
What if it comes to Galveston? It could potentially come to Galveston.
Yeah, move west.
Yeah. Okay, so keep an eye out. If you see something odd that looks like a sort of a robot minion, don't be scared of it. It does have a name, and it is a piece of scientific equipment. So hopefully that'll be a big story if somebody finds it here.
Maybe the dolphins will carry it in.
Maybe the dolphins will, start playing with it and carry it in and
you
bring
never
it
know.
to us. Yeah.
Very cool.
Fun story.
Not cool that they don't have Bob, but hopefully we can find him. But let's talk about the earthquake in SoCal this morning.
Look at this. I have never experienced an earthquake. You probably have, huh?
No,
you have?
I never have.
Oh. I know Lena has, DeFlorius, because she lived out in Southern California for a while. I can't imagine.
No.
So this was a magnitude 4.7. That's what it's being ruled now. They go through and adjust it sometimes.
Yes.
But magnitude 4.7, it rocked Malibu this morning. That's fancy, isn't it?
Oh, it's fancy.
Isn't it fancy? The quake was felt through Los Angeles and all the way to Indio. Have you been to Indio?
Oh, yeah.
What's in Indio?
It's near Palm Springs or Palm Desert.
Oh, so that's far away, though, from Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. It's like at least 2-hour drive.
Oh.
But it's just crazy to look at the video. And then the dogs are, of course, like, what is going on, Mom?
Guys.
So I worked in California, and so I lived there for several years, but there was a massive, I think it was like a 7.1 or 2 magnitude earthquake just outside of Bakersfield on 4th of July.
Wow.
And my friend who was at the beach in Santa Monica was like, we felt that.
It,
and I happened to be in Michigan, wasn't there for it.
Oh.
So I missed a big one. But it's crazy to go back to the site of them, and literally the earth
You can see, yeah.
just opened up.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So it's not, like, at least with a hurricane, as bad as it is, you know it's coming, but earthquakes, you're just living your life, and all of a sudden your whole house is shaking, and dishes are falling out, of the sink and all whatever. and the pets are running around. I mean, it's
crazy.
Yeah, it is really scary.
But a lot of people that live, especially on the fault lines, they will literally, let's say you have a vase up on the corner, it's stuck. They glue it there.
Yeah, I would think you would do that. Yeah, you know.
Because if not, you're buying new vases all the time.
Tell you, if I had a nickel for each vase I've lost, I wouldn't have any money.
So not something we're worried about, but interesting to see, and you'll probably see a lot of pictures and video on social media. That's usually right where they go.
We have had, we did an interview on Forecasting with Friends. I think it was a day that you were off because we had we've had some Texas earthquakes recently, and there was a 5.1 that was out by Abilene, Texas, last month-ish. I don't remember the exact day, but it's tied in loosely with oil exploration that shifts things underground and contributes to them seeing earthquakes in West Texas and in North Texas. So like even Dallas-Fort Worth, they get a lot of like 3.8, 4.0, 3.5, that kind of thing where you just feel little tremors, but I've never felt one.
It would be weird.
Yeah.
I remember my husband was telling me back in the day that they went to Disneyland, so in California, and there was an earthquake while they were on one of the rides.
Oh gosh.
Huh? Like, nope. Could you imagine? It's like, I always just think about, you're on the one that goes like this, and then all of a sudden it stops.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't think it would actually happen.
Well, we had video, I think it was last week or the week before, where there were people who were, it was in Mexico. It was some sort of amusement park in Mexico, and it was one of the rides, it was one of the swing rides, you know, where you go around in a circle, but it was really high. And it got stuck. The people were stuck there at the top, but there was like a thunderstorm around. So they were stuck there at the top, and they're getting sort of blown around, and it's kind of rainy, and oh my gosh, nightmare.
That my stomach's already.
I know. That's why I don't get on those.
No,
you won't find me on those.
It's just not worth it.
That
friends.
time has passed.
Yeah.
No.
It's fun. You can watch people.
No. There's either going to be an earthquake, or there's going to be a thunderstorm, or the ride's going to break, or whatever. No thanks.
No thanks.
Hey, did you see this? There was the first civilian spacewalk that took place today, and it's all tied in with SpaceX and Elon Musk, and the one guy who led the mission, Jacob Isaacman, is a billionaire, you know. So he decided he wanted to orbit the Earth. They're about 500 miles up. Actually took the spacewalk.
That's crazy.
And it was actually, you know, it was more boring to watch than I thought it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're just like.
Yeah, I mean, we had it live, and it was just
meh.
They weren't moving very much. I'm sure it was thrilling for them, but for us, it was just kind of like.
Bradley, how long is that story? Do we?
We don't have time. We'll share it with you maybe tomorrow.
But that's good. So what time was it live?
We were live in the 6 o'clock hour with it. So yeah, it was about 6:30-ish. And we had it right when he left, when the guy left the capsule. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool to see. It proved that the Earth was flat. Because we all know it is.
I will make sure to have that for y'all tomorrow on Forecasting with Friends. Stick with us. We'll be right back.